Hi, everyone. It's Naomi, and here we are at the Firecracker Department Aftershow. And it's one of my favorite things to do. I say this all the time, but it's one of my favorite things because I get to hang out with my core team members and I get to share their cuteness and their smartness with you all. We talk about one of the past podcasts, and today we're talking about Ophira Eisenberg. Oh, wait, let me introduce everybody. We've got Emily Churchill in Los Angeles. We've got AJ Edmonds, who's in Los Angeles right now, and Anna Gustafson in Toronto. And as I said, today we are talking about Ophira Eisenberg. I talked to Ophira like a year ago in New York City when I was there visiting and doing some auditions and whatnot. Anna, you put me in touch with her because you're friends with her, right? From stand-up days?
We started together. We were in Vancouver at the same time when I started, and I've got this old actual photograph of her coming out on stage after extroing me. It's just, I adore her.
Great.
So you'll know her voice from NPR's Ask Me Another, which is such a funny show. And I feel like it's one of those things, like she's such a funny human being and she does stand up. She also is like one of the main storytellers on The Moth. And then she gets to do this Ask Me Another show on NPR, which just highlights all her best qualities, like her comedy and her curiosity and her love of people. And I just think she's the best. She was also on an episode of Girls, which was really, really fun. Anna, what was something that resonated for you from my discussion with Ophira?
You know, I found myself, because I know we have a history of being baby comics together.
Yeah.
What she was talking about when you have to sort of take your stand when you're a female going on stage, you have about like a 2-minute buffer where you have to prove that you belong there. Mm-hmm. That was like, of course, like that's exactly what that feels like. You have to hustle for your worth. Whereas guys have the luxury of just walking out and being accepted for being on the stage. We have to hustle a little bit. Yeah. I found when I was hearing her talk about her early experiences in comedy, that part of your brain that used to work constantly about writing new jokes and thinking about new things, I kind of went back to that, hearing her voice, which is weird. And I had to stop the podcast and I wrote like 3 new jokes while I was writing that out about nothing you were talking about. Like I wasn't lifting, but I was just inspired by thinking about what it was like to pump out jokes all the time. I don't know where that came from, but I love it.
I love that. I know maybe Emily, you can speak on this, but there's some sort of stance that you have to do that makes you feel like powerful. Like it's like a warrior stance that they say, like if you're feeling like before an audition or before a big meeting, if you're feeling like insecure, just do that stance for a while and it's inevitably going to teach you how to feel more confident. Emily, what resonated for you?
The biggest thing that I took away was when she was talking about the hustle and being tired. Yes, I can attest to all of that. I think we all can. And then doing something that you love actually gives you the energy. So it's actually a good thing, but it's like getting to that thing and getting home is where the tiredness comes from. And it's so true. And so I was like, yeah, it gives me energy to act or do what I do and hold that in my heart, I guess. Yeah.
Yeah, I love that. That's so interesting. I'm taking an acting class right now, and it's like 5:30 till 11:30 at night. And you would all be like, "Whoa, but I don't get tired. Like I'm so sparked by it all. It keeps you alert." AJ, what do you think?
To build off what Anna was saying, when she was going, fuck 'em, fuck 'em, fuck 'em, fuck 'em,
yeah.
So into that energy, we don't. I mean, as a younger performer in the industry, it's important to take a second and remember that there were a lot of people and women that came before that really had to go through that, like, scream on the other side and know that you're walking into a room that doesn't believe in you and you have to work just that much harder to remind them that you're not just their mom telling like jokes at home. Right. And so hearing her talk about that, I was like, man, there's a lot of gratitude that we all owe to really any stand-up, and I don't know how you do it. I think like it's so beyond. I'm like, I can't. That's too vulnerable. I can't be funny on the spot. But it's true,
Sorry, this makes me super awkward. I'm like,
oh really?
Just to let you guys know.
But
it's funny that you say that.
Isn't it all muscles? Like if we all said, okay, for the next month, we're all gonna do stand-up like 5 days a week. At the end of the month, we would be better. If we said, let's do this after show 5 days a week, we'd all get more comfortable. It's all things, it's muscles, right?
So Sarah Blakely, who owns Spanx, for all of her incredible accolades, one of the things that her staff really talk about is how she manages female leadership. Once a year, she makes her entire everybody. It doesn't matter what level of the company you're a part of. You have to do a stand-up routine, and she buys out a club, and everyone has to come, and you have to do like 5 minutes or something and stand up in front of all of your peers.
I love that.
And you know, it's an incredible tactic to do because she does it too, and it puts kind of everybody on this level playing field of like being grounded and acknowledging what, you know, how vulnerable everybody is. I'm really fascinated about how she leads her company in those ways. But also talking about like the warrior stance as vocalists, when you're training, you're not allowed to sway.
Oh yeah.
You have to stand like 2 feet on the ground. And so one thing I've found a lot of people say to me is that I have very good posture because I was beaten up by a tiny ballet dancer for most of my adolescence, but also because I'm spending half of my existence reminding people that I am grounded and like, don't fuck with me. And I'm like, that's what it's going to be. I'm just going to have 2 feet on the ground and not like fall into my hip, and everyone's going to think that I have it under control.
Yeah, it's interesting. Yeah. What else for you, Anna? What else came up in the discussion I had with Ophira?
What you were talking, what was the sign that she saw about keep moving?
Yes, I wrote that down too.
About just keep moving forward at the airport. I was at the grocery store after I listened to the podcast, and I saw a sign. I'm just looking it up, and it said, sorry, you can edit this.
It's okay.
No, you're so
stand back. Stand back and push. That was the sign. I was like, well, that's different energy. That's just that keep moving forward is very, very resonated with me. Yes. And then sometimes that stand back and push feels like what we're expected to do. And when she was talking about being authentic and just not waiting for permission from somebody to do your own act, like you were talking about how you'd wish you had more golf jokes if you saw someone in a polo shirt, and just that I felt that shift as well. As soon as I stopped trying to push it, I got better because I just stopped. It was instead of fuck it, instead of fuck you,
yeah.
It was like fuck it. Just, like it's a great, and everybody gets there. I wish I would have got there 20 years ago, but when you flip that switch of I deserve to be here. I actually can do this because I'm doing it. There's the proof. And like, why do we wait for people to give us permission? Like, it drives me bananas.
Yeah, I totally understand. Why do we wait for somebody to let us dream and pursue our dreams? It's kind of, Emily, what you're nodding your head, so I'm coming to you.
Oh yeah, no, I think, you know, to circle it back to what we started with here, I think it all goes together with being a woman performing, because I've done stand up and I have done solo shows, and I have the same feeling. Like every time I go out there, I'm like, it's not going to be just periods. I promise. Stick with me. You know, like, well, you're going to have fun. But you have to wait until like 2 minutes before they're like, oh, okay, she's for real. All right. But yeah, we don't have that same thing that males do of like, oh, they're going to be great no matter what they do when they step on stage. But
and I do
keep
think,
pushing forward.
I'm not sure that that's exclusive to performing either. Like, I'll never forget the first time I was like working as an adult. Like, I was probably 21 or 22, and I just produced something, and I walked into a room filled with the guys that financed it, and the director goes, and this is, you know, the woman who put the project together, and this guy spun around and looked at me and goes, wow, beautiful and smart. And I was like, man, I know what I let in here with. And didn't come from behind my eyes. You know?
Yeah.
Like, there's this sort of like, wow, you really proved yourself. It's like, did I have to? Did you just think that? Is that how we approach any woman that walks in the room? It's like, well, okay, you've got a couple bars to pass before you get to hold on to that job, you know?
Yeah. Well, I think she's great. Any final thoughts to wrap up this discussion about Ophira?
Yes, training. I loved her talking about how she's like, it doesn't matter how long you've been doing this. If you haven't done it for 2 weeks, you still need to get up and train and like get into your exercises, and don't just assume that because it's in there, it's not going to rust a little.
Agreed.
So
like, take classes, take things that get you out of your comfort zone, do things to remind you that you're an artist. Yeah.
And then, like Rufus, rest.
Oh, Rufus.
I didn't even know. Yeah, just rest and recharge.
Yeah.
Speaking of recharge, what are you guys doing these days to recharge your artist within? How's that segue? Emily, what's going on with you?
Yeah, I just got done voicing a podcast where I play 3 Jewish characters from New Jersey. So it was very nice. It was a lot of fun, and I think it is called Fair Neck. So I'll have it on my Instagram, and it's at mchurchill on
And
Insta.
Emily's also heading up our meditation department and sending us great meditations once a week that I just adore. I adore your voice. I adore your heart. It's so fantastic. So thank you for those. AJ, what's going on with you?
I am launching a series of masterclasses through Pocket Film School. So launched the director's masterclass last week for anybody that just wants to either learn the sort of microcosms of being on set as a director and how to do that. And then I do the production and producers masterclass in 3 weeks. I'll launch it.
I love it. And also, AJ, what's your Twitter handle?
A to the J-E.
It is. I should have that memorized. But AJ's also in charge and contributing like content for Firecracker department. She's also helping with our brand kit and pitch documents. She's really a Jacqueline of all trades. Hey, what's going on with you, Anna?
So French, Jacqueline.
Jacqueline.
I continuing with my partner that I've never met, Monique in Los Angeles. It cracks me up every week that we've never actually been in a room together, but we get together every week, do the Twitter takeover, and try to find people that just are great, smart, funny, female and non-binary writers, because that's what there's some skill to you got to squish it down into something that makes sense and gets the laugh out. And I'm fascinated by Twitter, and so we do that on Wednesdays. We just flip off, and look around, and try to signal boost women in comedy.
I love it. So that's Monique Madrid and Anna, who are doing the comedy department within the Firecracker department. And I love it. I love how that's building, and I can't wait. We're going to really build some cool things in that department, I know. The movie I'm in called Disney Zombies 2 just got released last week. So if you need to see me in a pink pantsuit, that's where you're going to go. They have not allowed me to dance on the show yet, which is a crying shame, because the movie itself is full of like these amazing like kids that are singers, dancers, actors, comedians. It's really fun. If you like singing, dancing, go and watch that. And while you're over watching your computer in some form, go to firecrackerdepartment.com, subscribe to our newsletter to keep in touch with all the things that are going on. Social media, Firecracker DEPT. And we sure like having you all join us. Thanks for chatting about Ophira and with these gals. We'll see you next time on the Aftershow. Bye.